Victoria, hey, congratulations on this new film On the Line for yourself. I mean, it was just recently showcased at the Newport Beach Film Festival here in the United States. I don't know if you were here to attend it, but that is still an honor for you, right?
Oh, it's amazing. Absolutely. Yes. No, I wasn't able to go, which was very sad because I just get lots of photos from Ollie having the time of his life. And I'm like, that would be nice. Sea and sun and yeah, but maybe next time if there's a next time. But it's absolutely wonderful anyway.
It is a beautiful beach town if you ever have a chance to visit California here in the United States. But it's too bad. We missed you. Uh, so, Victoria, tell us what initially brought you on board for On the Line. What actually drew you in that you wanted to do this film?
So I read the casting for it, and one, I'm really interested in independent feature film and micro budget feature film and things that are being made because the team are really passionate about making them in the first place. So that was appealing anyway, because that's when I first, back, oh gosh, 8 years ago, when I first discovered that kind of filmmaking really intrigues me. And then I thought of the concept of it and the idea of just being in a room for the entire film, any actors sort of uh, dream slash challenge, I'd say, because the pressure's quite high. But I remember in the description, Ollie had even written basically it should be for people that are used to learning like monologues and long pieces of dialogue because it's essentially just one big long script. So that drew me to it as well. And also, I liked the change of accent that really appealed to me. So when she's speaking formally during her job, she's in this very heightened RP 1960s English. And then when she's talking to her husband and her friends, she has an almost West Country sound. And so I'm originally from the West Country, so that kind of Alderney English, that kind of West Country English. So it was fun to play with those. So yeah, just loads of things appeal to me. Love a thriller. Um, yeah, how are they going to do it? How are they going to keep people entertained for that long? Lots of things appeal to me.
I do have to admit this was a challenging role. Now correct me if I'm wrong. This is your first leading role. I mean, usually they use veteran actors um in
Mm.
in these positions, but this is your first leading role. I mean, how what was it? What was that experience like for yourself?
Oh, it was wonderful. Yeah, I'd done quite a few indie features before. And they'd been quite like integral or sizable roles. There was one in particular I did many moons ago when I first started out, which was sort of like a co-lead. So I had experience there in screen work and being on set for a long period of time and stuff like that. So it's definitely my first one where it's essentially, yeah, just you for the for the whole thing, and you're sort of at the forefront of the story. Um, so yeah, like I said before, it's quite challenging, but super exciting. And I definitely felt ready at that point. Like I'd spent enough time on other projects throughout my career and on stage and stuff that I was and with more indie film and all that kind of stuff. So okay, I think I can do this, but you never know until it happens. So
That that is true. Did you have to do any special preparations for the role of Agnes here?
um apart, apart from learning 77 pages of dialogue, which was it took about 2 months. I was working at the same time as well. So I'd had to make this sort of, I love a spreadsheet. So I had to make a sort of schedule for myself that this is how many pages you're learning per week. Then you're going to go over them and then you're going to move on to the next one and you have to learn them in order. And Ollie was super kind that the bulk of the film was shot chronologically, which again is pretty unheard of. Most of the time, it's all over the place. Um, so he was very kind in that sense. But it's because we were shooting it in 5 days. So it was one of those things where you're like, if that makes sense logically for everyone anyway. So that was a lot of prep. Yeah, just checking on the accents and with the switchboard itself, obviously I'd seen people do that historically, but I didn't have any rehearsal time with that switchboard until I sat down on day one. So that was a little bit daunting to get used to making it look natural and stuff. So that was a bit scary.
Well, you know, it's funny is because the switchboard itself is your on screen opposite. Do you know what you were actually doing, or were you just basically you know, as the term as they say it, winging it?
I think a healthy mix of both. There was a gentleman on the first day who worked at the, did he work at the museum? Or he was at least a historical expert on the switchboard. So he came in, and before we even started filming, he was like, right, so this is how you'd make a call, this is how you'd switch, change the lines and all that kind of stuff. This light means this. And so I was like, okay, cool. And I was just getting all this information. And then Ollie was like, artistically, it would look better if we did this. And so I was listening to them and I was going, you know what? How about we try this? And I went for like a medium point between historically accurate and artistically interesting. And so I just sort of like went for something in the middle and stuck with it. But the crazy thing was, at least, I mean, it must have been maybe 2 days in. It was amazing. You just did learn how to do it. It became kind of like this dance, and Ollie would be like, "Oh, so and so's calling in this next scene." I was like, "Oh yeah, they're number 54, yeah," and it just got to a point where by the end I felt quite comfortable, but it was initially quite daunting, yeah.
it, it's funny to me is because you know, the switchboard operator and all that kind of stuff was way before my generation. I can't imagine your generation taking a look at what is a switchboard? What's a rotary phone?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's lovely though. You know, the sound design the switchboard is this other character. You know, I spend all my time looking at it, acting opposite this inanimate object. So it did become part of the process, I think. Became a friend.
So for Ollie, how did he pull it off the production design? What was it all in small room? Because the switchboard itself is kind of operational, right? On the production.
Yeah, so I think I don't want to misquote anything or get it wrong. Just the lowly actor here, don't know. But basically, we shot at Avon Museum, which I'd been before, and they're the only place I think in the UK that still have an operational switchboard itself. Like the actual, some of the shots you see at the beginning where I'm soldering and like the actual mechanics, they all still work. And I think what was really funny, I swear, people were texting on modern phones or ringing on modern phones to get it to do stuff or something like that, or get someone to go, "Hi, can you make it work?" and then make it work. Um, but the switchboard, actual, the face of it itself with the lights and stuff, that was brought in and then connected to that room. I don't know where that was sourced, but I think it was kind of a combination of getting that in the right setting, and yeah, it was all in that one little shed out. And I remember it being really cold because it was November. It was tiny. And all the crews kind of like hiding behind bits of it and stuff. Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow, it doesn't sound like the most comfortable working atmosphere in a really tiny, because even when I'm watching it, it looked like a tiny room for
Mm.
yourself. But I guess the production was only 5 days, so it's only a little bit of torture. It's so fast.
It was so fast. I remember there's one particular shot that's 10 pages long without a cut. And it's a dolly shot. It's beautiful. And I don't think you really realize it's happening until you start seeing that the dolly's coming in. And the fear for that scene, once that scene was done, it was fine. But it was sitting there going, right, if I mess up a line, we're screwed. If the dolly goes over a bump, we're screwed. If something else goes wrong, say a helicopter goes by or something and sound's ruined, we're screwed. So we would just get on bated breath, just go, oh my God, we're 9 pages in, please, can we just get to the last page? And that was quite intense. But yeah, I mean, we just sort of went with it. It was almost like doing a play. It was just on to the next thing. What's the next bit of the story? What's the next arc? And I think that's what Ollie wanted, was someone who was used to that environment as well, that could kind of mix the two things together, the two genres together.
So what is your working process? Because this is a 70-page script and it took you 2 months to I don't want to say memorize it because 70 pages to memorize is pretty hard by itself. So do you basically like kind of memorize most of it or get a general idea and then proceed on to scene by scene by rememorizing? Is that your process?
Yeah, I definitely think. Oh, I heard myself then. That was weird. I got an echo. Yeah, I definitely think it was definitely that process. It was kind of take it chunk by chunk, what's feasible per week or per day to learn, go over it, revisit it, great. And then by the time I got to the end, I was like, do I still know the beginning? So then just go back again and keep doing it. And because it was chronological, that was helpful. So on day one, I was like, okay, how far are we getting in the story? Okay, we're getting to this point. The first scene's going to be this. What accent am I doing? Who am I talking to? What are the beats in the story? She's talking to this person, then this thing happens, then it ends with that. When are we calling cut? And so it kind of got to a point where I had my the sides for that particular scene by my feet, and I go, right, what's next? Oh, I remember what happens. Who's calling? Great, cool. And then run it, and then we went for it. So, and we usually ran it and filmed. I said always film the rehearsal because that could be the good one, and then we all get into our heads and start panicking. So yeah, it was exactly that process, which is a lot, but it was great.
Wow. That is very talented of you. And then and I did actually notice the different accents, even though us Americans here, we're all used to American accents. When I was watching, I was like going, okay, I think I could pin this accent. Wait a minute, the accent is different in the next scene. I mean, that did you have to go through like a dialect training, or did you do this on your own?
I did do it on my own. Like I say, I can slip into a Southwest-esque accent quite easily because actually, to be honest, that's what I should sound like. All my family are from that part of the world. So that's quite easy. And then heightened RP, I had already done that accent before in other productions. So luckily, they're both two accents I could do. But yeah, it was what was I trying to say next? There was something I was going to say. Yeah, I was worried that it wouldn't be obvious enough that I am purposely changing them and people aren't going to be like, gosh, she can't stick to one accent. That's not very good. Like I was hoping that people notice that she actively changes accents between the people she's talking to, or else people are going to think I'm awful. So glad it's not the case. Ooh,
Oh no, I even picked it up myself. Now,
great.
this film is fascinating how Ollie actually structured it is because on screen you're the only person from start to finish. I mean, these type of movies are actually challenging if you're only by yourself. What was it like for you to act with literally seeing nobody in front of your face, just the switchboard?
Um, yeah, I mean, I got very used to that switchboard. Uh, um, yeah, it was strange. I mean, luckily, he was really, really kind in this way as well, that there were actors there who were playing the other characters, or at least if they weren't in the film, they were reading for other characters, so they were there in another box booth area just outside the room. So when I was on the phone, I could actually have someone live talking to me like any other conversation. And that was really nice because they could have very easily had anyone read it, and not necessarily an actor. And also they could have like maybe some sort of like Siri voice reading it, like anything could be happening, couldn't they? It could be automatic, they could put it in later. So yeah, it was hugely beneficial to have people to play opposite with, even though they weren't actually in front of me. At least they were in my ear. Um, but yeah, it was strange, and I think I've watched it once. Uh, I'm going to watch it again at the Birmingham Film Festival and not in November because it's a little bit closer than the other side of the world. But it's going to be weird, especially on a big screen. I've only seen it on like a laptop screen, and I think it'll hit home then that it is just me, and you all you want is to just to do a good job and do the script and the rest of the team justice, you know, the people that are making it look beautiful and sound beautiful. And so yeah, I think you just kind of keep going and saying, hi, is this okay? Great, cool. Next, you just hope for the best and hope that it comes out okay. Yeah, I'm trying not to think about it, I guess, because it's a little bit crazy.
No, it is. It's because I know like a lot of actors, they react amongst an opposite. And in this case, you have no facial expressions to
No.
to act against. You only act against on the tone of the voice,
Mm.
on the other side. So that's what I have to remark. That's a it's challenging.
Thank you. Yeah, it was strange. I think they did a good job of in terms of uh photography and getting it interesting in terms of angles. Some of them were so cool. It was almost like the switchboard was looking at me. And I think they did such a good job of making the switchboard as sort of almost as alive as possible, because that's the one thing she's got to interact with. But yeah, I agree with you. It's really nice when you're working with other actors. For me personally, I love to bounce off what other people are doing. So yeah, I guess I hadn't necessarily thought about it in that way, that I didn't have the same level of being able to bounce off someone. What they're giving you, you can then change how you reply and stuff. I just chatting on the phone. Just chatting on the phone.
Well,
Strange.
I'm glad you revealed that you did actually meet the actors, because when I was watching it, I almost thought Ollie just had you sit down through 5 days, act it all out, and then he added, the voiceover with the other actors much later. I was like thinking in my head was going, what? Maybe she's just talking to the director this entire
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that would be have been a really probably more cost effective and really sensible idea. It really would have. But I think some of the actors were changed in the edit, and we've got some lovely people on board that weren't there. But regardless, there was always a live actor saying every single word to me, which was absolutely so beneficial to just so you did have at least them to bounce off of, even though you didn't have them in there with you. So yeah, he was very kind about that. So I'm very thankful. Thanks, Ollie.
Now for the film itself, the character Agnes, I found her fascinating, is because it's in one hand, you could sense the high anxiety she's actually going through, but then on the other hand, you're like shouting at her, like, just let the police do their job. I mean, where do you stand when you are playing, this character? What goes on your head when you feel for Agnes?
Okay, I've got to be careful here, haven't I? Because I don't want too many spoilers. But she, I think her motives are good. I think deep down, she's good. She's a good person. The reason she's following this is essentially because of guilt for various things that unravel. She feels responsible. She's so ingrained in that community because it's such a small one and she knows everyone and she's the only person that people talk to. And so she's aware of everything going on. So she feels a responsibility for these people. And I think at the end of the day, she just wants to help. However, I agree, there is a certain point where she's just being a nuisance to people that need to focus, and she has, she puts certain people in danger. She it's almost like she suddenly gets blinkered and she's like, I have to solve this, everyone else can go away. I need to focus, I need to solve it. So I think she's flawed, definitely, but I think her motives are pure. She doesn't necessarily execute them in the right way. I think that's how I'd describe it, which I liked because I think that's far more realistic than inherently good and inherently bad. She's a good person with maybe not the best technique.
Well said, without any spoilers. I mean,
I know.
this is technically a thriller, and it's almost like she's playing detective in
Yeah.
her own way. and that's why people are captivated from start to finish. I mean, you barely have a breather is it was the entire point.
Yeah, she's definitely yeah, she's self-appointed detective. That's what she is. She's not taking no for an answer until she's solved it.
Now, I know you hinted a lot throughout our entire conversation, but overall, how did you enjoy working with Ollie on this production?
You know what? It's really interesting always working with someone on their debut. I mean, that's wicked to see someone um yeah, the first time they've stepped into that role. And you could definitely see in terms of production, especially the amount of prep and detail that they'd gone to. Um, there were definitely challenges because we're such a small team and it was micro budget, you know, so sometimes we were all continuity because there wasn't someone for continuity. So it was like, okay, let's do it together. Like, and you have these things, but I think that's what's so interesting about projects like this and why I wanted to do it was because it is collaborative, and that's a really gorgeous thing when you're all in it for the same reason. You all want to make it, you all want it to be successful, and you're passionate about it, and that's the reason you're there. So when everyone's on the same wavelength like that creatively, it's a really exciting environment to be in. So yeah, he's a lovely, lovely person. We obviously still talking now about it all. Yeah, watching him work was really interesting. I think he even within that 5 days, his confidence sort of soared. Seeing that was really nice. Oh, is there a cat?
Yeah, there is.
Got distracted. Oh, hello.
Yeah, she.
Oh, what's the cat's name?
This one's named Nina. This is a girl.
Oh,
There's another one named Nino, which is the boy.
oh,
So
cute.
there's
My brain went back to A-level geography, and I swear, Nino, there was is it El Nino? There was a certain weather
weather.
thing.
El Nino and La Nina. Yeah, it's a weather thing. So Nino brother, Nina sister, and that is his Spanish. Yeah. So so
Hi. I mean, if you ever need to get on my good side, not that I would be annoyed in any way, but just show me a cat.
oh
I
yeah.
love them. I love them. Anyway, yes. In general, what was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? Oh, I mean, in conclusion, that's what I mean. Uh Ollie was lovely. And like I say, just watching him grow even in those 5 days was really exciting. As a director, you could see his confidence grow and everything. And I think it's a lot for your first directing debut. You're not doing a short, you're not doing a music video, you're doing a feature length movie that you've written, that you've got the team around you, that you've cast. Like, he was so integral to all of it. So it wasn't just he was the director, he was actively involved in all the other things. So I think that's an inordinate amount of pressure, and it's your baby, it's your thing that you've made and you've written and you're passionate about. So yeah, he was yeah, it was just great. And he's very what's the right word? He's very knowledgeable because he's been in that industry for a long while, in various capacities. But also he had that kind of newness about him. So that's always exciting because there's a bit more freedom there, because he's not stuck in any ways because he's not done it yet. So he's got the freedom to be like, let's try this or let's do that. But that being said, most of the time it was like, cool, we've done 2 takes next. Got a lot to get through. So yeah, no, we had a lovely time. Yeah.
Oh, that is wonderful. Victoria, let's talk a little bit more about yourself here. How did you get into acting? What actually, initiated that drew you saying, I want this as a career?
Oh gosh, how long do you have? So when I didn't train conventionally, so I didn't go to drama school or university. And like I say, I grew up in a really rural area down in Devon, so nowhere near London, um, or any kind of cities. So when I was 18, I left school, and there was quite a lot of pressure to do academia at university. And for some reason, my brain was like, no, no, I really want to give this acting thing a go. If it doesn't work out, I'll go to uni later. So I gave myself a 5-year deadline or something. So something like by the time I'm 25, I want to be living off acting, or else I'm going to have a rethink. And now at 28, I'm like, that was quite extreme to put that on yourself so young. But yeah, I don't know where it came from or why, but my brain just said, that's what you're doing. So blinkers on, figure out how you're going to be an actor. And so I worked in a pub for a bit and I Googled how to be an actor. And then here we are many years later. And what I did was I joined a casting website, took a headshot with my phone, emailed everyone I could, applied for everything I could, didn't get anywhere for months and months and months. And then I started getting into the local stuff, and I'd done all the Amdram and I used to do a lot of singing, so I was more musical theatre and all that kind of thing growing up. And then I started getting little jobs here and there, and initially they were like profit share things where obviously like no one actually makes any money, but you do it because you love it, and like, all that kind of stuff. And weirdly, my first ever agent I emailed her and said, hi, you saw me in this play. I have no experience whatsoever, but you've seen me act now, so fancy it? She said, yeah, okay. And I owe her a lot, so thanks, Susanna, if you're still out there. And so she got me my first film job, and that's when I realized, oh my gosh, this is where I want to live forever. I just want to be on set for the rest of my life. And I was 19, and it was a local independent movie, and I had 5 days on it, and I was playing the younger version of the lead in all the flashbacks and stuff. And I just remember going there early and watching the main cast and just seeing how they did it, seeing how small and nuanced it was. I was like, oh, this isn't like stage, this is really, really different. This is a different like skill set. And then from then on I went, that's awesome. Then I did another film that year where I was the co-lead, and then I've been lucky enough to be on the West End in a play in The Mousetrap, and just slowly but surely gone from things like I'm going to be a waitress for a while, and then I'm going to do an independent film, and then I'm going to be a waitress again, and then I'm going to do this, and you fund yourself and you climb that ladder slowly. And here we are now, still climbing, and I hope to never stop. So just I don't know what it was, but my brain just decided one day, I think I was about 18. It wasn't like I was young and wanted to do it from little, but I went, yeah, that's what we're doing. And who cares if you've got no training at all? We'll just figure it out. So I just watched everyone. That's the thing. I asked advice from anyone I found in the industry or interested in, and I just watched everybody else do it. And so I thought, oh, I really like the way they're doing that, or that's a technique that I'll take with me. And here we are, 8 years later.
Wow, that is excellent. I don't know if you could tell on the background over here.
Hello. Oh no. And then there were two.
Yeah, there's two. Nino. Yeah.
No, they decide when to listen to you, don't they? Selective deafness. Like, I love you. Ah, there you are. Yeah. We could do cat sharing. I mean, go get mine if you want. What happened to the interview, Vicky? We just compared cats.
It's just cats video bombing left and right.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you have a great experience, especially you always remember your first time. But do you aspire for something bigger? Because I know you've done a lot of independent. Do you want to do like more mainstream, like larger productions or TV? I mean, I guess it's a silly question. Of course you do.
Of course I do. I mean, I have a real love for indie, because I think again it's driven on passion, not finances. That's what's brilliant about it. But also we all need to live, and we all want to keep improving and getting better and whatever. So of course I'd love to, absolutely love to. I love doing period drama related things. So yeah, if anyone wants to hire me, anyone for TV or film, let me know, because I'll be there. But yeah, I don't know if it's a common thing with other actors, but I find it really hard breaking into that next realm, because there are so many wonderful people out there already, and it's it's all based on like what agent you're with or what castings, what you can get into the room for. And I'm actually really clueless about how someone from Britain can work in the US because you have a completely different union system to the UK, and it's all quite overwhelming. So yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, I'd absolutely love. Who doesn't want to be on Netflix or be in some BBC drama or be in Marvel? I mean, yeah, of course, I'd love any of those things. Would be great, thanks. So yeah, if you could just organise that, that'd be fantastic. Thank you so much. Yeah, of course, that's what we keep striving for, I think. But I think it would be nice to have a mix of that, right? It would be lovely to be able to even to do it full time. I mean, I work like 5 different jobs because you have a job for a while and then you don't, and that's what self-employed life is like, especially in the entertainment industry. So it's staying realistic, but with that little thing in your mind saying, oh, the next goal would be nice, or a little 2 lines in some big movie would be nice. Yeah.
You know what? You as a British person, you have a pretty good chance. I mean, after all, a lot of big budget movies here in America, we somehow always hire British people because it's always that impression that British are better actors than American actors, or like, or
That's true.
easier to deal with. I think that's what a lot of production companies like to.
Really? Is that the wow? I didn't think that. But to be fair, I mean, if you're going to go with any general society, we do say sorry a lot. And we do are like ridiculously polite. I mean, in my experience, I've got a lot of friends who, I've got a friend who's from Austria and other people, and they're like, why? Someone just banged into you and you just said sorry. Why did you do that? I don't know. It's just an automatic, oh, sorry. Just, yeah. Lots of please and thank yous.
That's funny. Is it your kindness almost sound our joke over here is that Canadians do that a lot.
Oh, interesting.
Like,
Yes.
and it's not even the acting community, it's just the people themselves. They just apologize, and then as us Americans, we get upset for them apologizing.
But you need that balance, right? I feel the same here. We apologize too much, we say sorry too much, we don't want to ever cause any problems, and then other people go, what, come on now, you need to have a bit of backbone. I think you need a balance of both. I think it's important. We're all different, eh?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Victoria, I know I've taken a lot of your time, but can do you have new projects lined up pretty soon for yourself?
Not with film and television, no. So again,
But
hello
on
casting
stage too,
directors.
right?
Yeah, so I'm off to do panto in Christmas, which is a weird thing for the American community, right? You don't have pantomimes in
No.
America. No. Well, if you ever see one, you're in for a treat because it doesn't really make any sense to anyone who's not British. It's a weird experience. But yeah, I've always done them because I mean it's work at Christmas time and it's a load of fun. So yeah, I'll be spinning around the place and singing and dancing my way through Christmas time. And yeah, then we'll see what happens. So that's what's next. I do a lot of the standard things like a bit of gigging here and there because I sing, so a bit of modeling, bit of whatever. So we keep on rolling on, and then we hope and pray that another film job comes along, or film audition at least comes along. So we'll see.
You know what? No one really knows, and when you hit something, and all of a sudden it just cascade and bombards really quickly. But on the line here showcases your talent, especially the fact that most of it's self-taught with you, and that shows the talent you actually have. Victoria, thank you very much for carrying this conversation with us. You're a wonderful person, and I look forward to more projects, and we get to do this again.
Oh, I'd love that. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you, thank you. Bye now.
Bye.